Oh, hey, Alice. Fancy seeing you here at the place I always see you. So it's not really that special, I guess, but uh, still good to see you. Thanks for joining us once again. You came at a good time. I have Kevin Berry from Borderline Natives joining us. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man. Stoked.
You've got a big show coming up, first of the year.
Yeah, man. We're headlining at the end, January 4th, with support from Emmy, Sundown Radio, and Johnny was here. So we're super stoked about it too. We kind of curated this we've been like building this set and like building like even everything down to like guitar transitions, all that kind of stuff. So we're like super excited that we're get to headline for the first time. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude.
Where'd you say that was? I'm sorry.
The End.
The End.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I love that place.
Great venue, easy sell too.
Yeah.
Like people just fucking show up there. So that's
Yeah. You never know with the End. Like I'm sure you guys will have a great draw, but like I've been there like not expecting anyone to be there. I'm like, holy shit, this place is packed. And then this like fuck off shows where like there's no one there, but it's like a beautiful place. Shout out to Bruce.
Y'all, dude. Bruce is the man. Dude.
Yeah.
Dude the guy. I love how you can see Bruce out at Nashville, like randomly, just like on the street. You're like, oh shit, it's Bruce, and he's always just like doing some like just like NPC activity. You know, he's always just like, one time I was just driving in Midtown. I just saw him reading a sign, and I was like, okay, you know.
That's hilarious. I've never seen a Bruce out in the wild.
Dude, I see him driving. I see him walking down the street. I've seen him at least, I don't know, like I've lived here for about 7 years. I've seen him in the wild about 5 times.
That's wild.
Yeah. So
yo, you spotted a wild Bruce.
Yeah, dude.
You ever like try and like throw a Pokeball at him? Just like kidnap him? You ever kidnap Bruce?
No, I've never kidnapped Bruce, but it's interesting because Bruce is a man of very few words. So it's like, you know, it'll be like, because we've played the End a few times, and every time I'm like, how was that? And he's like, all right. Or it's always like one word though. It's always like good or just a grunt.
Yeah.
So, but he couldn't. I mean, he's a nice dude though. You know, he's like the coolest. Like he's what you strive to grow into. You know what I mean? As a person, just he doesn't give a fuck, dude.
Mostly my interactions with Bruce are like, PBR. What?
Yeah. Now here you go.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
So you said you've been here about 5 years?
Yeah, we're going on 7. So yeah,
my bad.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, it'll be 7 on New Year's Day.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so I moved here like New Year's Eve.
Where are you coming from?
Michigan.
Okay. Where at?
Right here, dude.
Oh,
right there. So like it's a small town called Heartland, Michigan. It's kind of near Ann Arbor.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm mostly familiar with Grand Rapids. I spent some time there.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours north.
Gotcha.
Saw a lot of shows there though.
What brought you to Nashville? Music?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, straight up. Just moved down and built. Just really wanted to do it as a profession, and been chipping away at it for as long as I've been here. So you know, I've built my band just from the ground up, just moving down and just meeting friends of friends, and just trying to make it happen. You know, just trying to get basically the goal from the start was just to get the music out to as many people as possible. And that's just kind of why I guess it's worked, like that's kind of been the same goal the whole time. So versus like looking for fame or whatever, I just like more people to hear it. And that's like people want to kind of get behind that, and have something that uh people can't get behind, just to have like, because our thing has always been like unity and wanting like people that have felt lost to become unified once they're at a show or they listen to our music and they meet other people that listen to it. Because like, in the last like year, it's crazy because we've started to have fans, which I never thought we would have. That I don't think anyone really like can comprehend that, like, because you're just kind of, as a musician, you're kind of like uh predisposed to just accept the fact that nobody cares. You're told that, and everybody, like almost every musician is probably told that at some point, like nobody cares. And then when people start caring, you're like, no way. You're like, you're serious, you do? Yeah. And then you start seeing it's really interesting when you see people coming to everything that you do, and you're like, oh my god, like this is, and they're like, yeah, we saw that your guys were playing, so we showed up. And because we have the original band, like that's the primary thing, but we also do like Broadway gigs.
Yeah.
Which sometimes we do it as that, or but it'll be a little bit of a different lineup, and that's a totally different ballpark. That's like 3-4 hour slots playing covers. Yeah. Maybe we'll throw an original in, but it helps grow it, because
sure.
That's all we talk about is what we actually, and all of that is interesting because it's all people from out of town.
Mm-hmm. That's a whole world, and you really have to like have chops to play down there. Like, I mean, well, maybe not every bar, but like
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, like there are a lot talented motherfuckers down on Broadway.
Yeah.
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 What you said about unity, I think that's great, man. Like that's a big part of what I'm trying to do too, is like Nashville is really cliquey.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've seen it become less so over the last few years.
Yeah.
But like interviewing all these artists, I'm noticing like they don't know each other. Like sometimes they do.
Yeah.
But then like I'll go to a show and it's like they didn't stick around for the next band that played. And I'm like, what the fuck is that about? Right. And it's like there's this superficial put on competitive attitude with some people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it really like it's not actually competitive unless you look at it that way, and then it is.
Yeah, well, I think it's either competitive if you look at like you're saying, or it's collaborative, right?
Yeah.
Like I think if you have that mindset that you can kind of befriend everybody, and that then grows your circle a little bit, that is more beneficial, I think, because then you kind of can figure out, oh, hey, this kind of helped me out.
Mm-hmm.
And people will keep you in the lexicon or whatever.
For sure.
There's a balance to that though, man, because like I think there's a big like, I don't even call it a misconception, but like you have to go to everything, and like that has a ceiling on it too, like
yeah.
I think when you first show up, like that's definitely part of it. And then you can kind of like reel it back in and go to what you want to go to, because then like the people that you want to associate with will probably go to the same things. Yeah. I feel like for me, whenever the main's in town, like everybody I know goes to those shows. Like, and we don't even tell each other we're gonna go there. We're all like, oh, because they were just here last week, and like me and my drummer Brandon went, and I mean, dude, all our friends were there, and I was like, this is awesome. I never even like had to like, you didn't have to like organize that, So that's the kind of thing that makes it really fun. That you're collaborating with other people and stuff, because then you have moments like that, and you kind of figure out who's like here to play, and who's like you said, like that kind of like fake, for a better lack of a better term, and that is something you run into. But what happens is, I think the more you do it, the easier it is to spot, so you don't have to deal with it. You're like, oh, I get this guy's vibe, all right, cool. Like then you kind of don't have to deal with
Well,
that.
and it's a small town, so like
Oh yeah,
no one's doing themselves any favors by being a dick.
no, not at all.
You're just not gonna last. It doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah, like it
Yeah,
does because it gets around quick. I think
yeah,
that you're like that dude kind of, I don't know about that dude,
yeah.
whoever it is.
I love that about the scene here is we're pretty good about like policing assholes. Like just
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, definitely. I just think that
It's like this guy didn't pay out to the touring band. Like he just kept like pocketed the money. It's like, no, fuck this guy. Don't ever play a show with that guy.
Yeah, no, exactly, dude. I think like that's the thing too is like booking in itself is such a it's a whole nother ballpark too because like for us there's like shows we get asked to play and there's shows that we put together and I think it's a completely different mindset because like if you're asked to play a show, I feel like it's a little less um the heat's a little lower on that because you're got asked to do it, and usually when you get asked to do something, someone else set it up in a way that they want people to go. So but when you set it up, it really like okay, you have to like you learn real quick to make sure that the bands are really good.
Hmm.
They have a really good draw, like and that's the thing too is with it being so collaborative. It's hard to kind of when you're like become really good friends with everybody to make that call of like, dude, like you're a cool person, but like, you know, can you bring X amount of people? And if they can't, you're like, well, when you can, like, let's do something, But you
Yeah.
don't want to be like, because there's been so many people over the years where you go in, yeah, let's play this show, and they don't post till the day of,
Hmm.
and they're like, nobody came, bro. And I'm like, you didn't tell anybody you're playing.
Yeah.
And it's shocking how much people don't tell people that they're like doing stuff. I'm like you have to tell people you have dude no everybody's so like locked into their own life. You have to remind them like every day that if you want them people to go, you got to tell them every day. Like here's a
Yeah.
ticket link, by the way. Like
Yeah.
even if it's
And don't even like don't be ashamed of doing that because everyone's doing that.
yeah, dude, anybody, like literally anybody. I mean,
Hmm.
if even though the biggest artists, like if you're not seeing ads for it, it's because you're not in their demo. But that whatever their demo is seeing it every 30 seconds. You
Absolutely.
know, so,
Yeah.
so you can post once a day or 4 times a week on whatever event.
I definitely don't envy it. Like I'm not a musician. I just like I do this and I write poetry and I'm working on a fantasy novel right now, but
Cool.
I don't do music. And I just never had the discipline for it. Like my mom's a great piano player. She tried to teach me when I was a kid, but like I had video games instead, I was like, I just never formed discipline with that. Um, and I have a lot of respect for people that did. But I'm figuring out for the first time like what you're saying because I'm putting together a festival next year. And I'm figuring out real quick. It's like, oh, I have to like the bands I wanted to play. I'm gonna have to cut this like in down half or like a quarter of what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like picking that it's hard. And then you have to think about it's not like just your favorite bands, it's who has a draw. And like not only that, but like a big part of what I'm trying to do with that is like people with different draws, like from different parts of town.
Yeah.
And it's like so I have to be really selective and strategic with that. What I'm saying is I don't envy bands trying to put shows together because it's fucking hard.
Well, also this now it's kind of a newer thing. I think I don't think this has been an issue for a very long time, but like there has been people with like when it comes to figuring out who has the draw, you kind of have to go out to something before you book them to make sure that it's like legitimate. Because like I think a lot of stuff like the internet's smoke and mirrors. Like, dude, anything can look like there's a million people at it. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
reality is there, and that only really matters if you're the person booking because it only hurts you if they're like, oh, well, they had a lot more numbers, but where are those people? Yeah, like, dude, there's been I mean, I don't know. I don't keep track of all the shows we've played over the years, but I mean, I think it's over a couple hundred maybe. And I mean, like, that's happened more than 10 times. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Where people are like, dude, this dude's like this and this and this, and you go and you're like, where? I mean, I know I brought all these people, and and it's a lot of like, I don't know why, man. It's just because it's like their reach is so much
Mhm.
bigger a
It's
lot of the time.
also like, I think this is the hardest town to cut your teeth in, not the easiest.
Well, there's just so much going on
There's
all the
so
time.
much going
Yeah,
on. So many, like, I got friends from out of town, they're like real tight. Like, but then, there's some kid from Perry County, Tennessee, that all he's ever done since he was 5 is fucking pick the guitar.
yeah,
And it's like you like that kid can play circles around you.
yeah,
Like it's yeah, I mean not you, but you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
Hyperbolically.
yeah.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's a tough town to make it.
It was a huge learning curve too. Like when I moved here, like I'd played in bands for years, but I was only 21 when I moved here. But like I just turned 21 too, so I mean, my playing was like, I could play, and then I just through the years just had to like learn more. Like, I mean, I think with writing original music, it's different. It's completely different from like doing like cover gigs and stuff. But like, if you want to make some money, doing fill-in work's where it's at, and like especially doing.
Mhm.
I don't even really. I don't. I'm not a fan of country music, but I'll play it if someone's paying me to play
Yeah.
it. And like I had to learn a lot of stuff for that. And like, but the one thing that you can't really learn just by brute force is like having like on stage charisma,
Mm.
and like that is a huge thing I've always had in my corner, um, which has gotten me, I think, like that's the one thing that has kind of like, if skill wasn't exactly there, like the charisma got me a gig
Yeah.
more. And then because dude, and even in my case, like when we do those long sets for covers and stuff, and we'll like have subs because not everybody can do it every week. And like, dude, the subs that are better hangs, and maybe not the most incredible player you've ever seen in your life, but the hang's good, you bring that guy back.
Yeah. It's equally or more important than skill.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for sure. You have to have like a good attitude and like presence, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like we've been working a lot of like the tin roof circuit,
Mm.
and that's a bubble in itself because every tin roof is like hype, so it doesn't really like, it's always going to go off,
Yeah.
and you got to travel for that a lot of the time, so you want to make sure you're a good group, because I've done that with like the best touring party and kind of like not a super great one or whatever, and like a really bad one, so it's crazy, man, because like I said, like it all comes down to the hang,
Yeah.
because you want to like, do you want to be, you're at a rest stop in like uh wherever, Kansas, at 2 o'clock in the morning, like you're not going to give a shit if the guy can play guitar well. Like, is this guy chill enough I can have a conversation with him at this very stressful 9-hour drive,
Yeah.
like because you had to, whatever, because like a lot of the time they try to set it up in a decent way, but sometimes you just end up doing like turn and burns and stuff. Like we did one um for in Arkansas, Fayetteville, which is a super sleeper
Mm.
town. Because you wouldn't think like what happens in Arkansas, but that town is great. Like that because that's the college right there, goes off, dude.
Fuck yeah.
And that was,
Especially if there's nothing else to do.
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And that is in particular, that tin roof is like, there's like the college, and then there's the tin roof, and then there's like a bunch of other things. It's like a strip in itself, and it's just popping. And like that was awesome, but that was a long drive too. So you want to make sure the person you're driving with is,
For
chill.
sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be stuck with someone you don't like
no,
for
you're like,
hours at a time.
you're like, I gotta do this for another 10 hours. Like as soon
Mm.
as because they'll have you do like 2 nights or whatever. So you're out there for, you're in it,
Yeah.
and you're just like, and it's funny, man, because everybody, once you get your first tour done, you everybody gets used to this way of like you get so good at running on like not a lot of sleep, but you like basically you were really pissed at the top of it, and then you just slowly just stop caring, and you're like, all right, like, and you just even out,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of like, okay, and then when you get home, you sleep for like 24 hours, and you're like, all right, cool, let's do it again, dude.
Yeah.
But that middle section, man, is rough.
So
yeah.
Your headline in the end. You got here 7 years ago. You put together a band. You're doing the Tin Roof circuit. So I guess at this point you could say you're a borderline native. At this point.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I mean, hey, dude, that's why we named it that. You know, it does. It can be a great pun.
I was like, where am I gonna fit that in?
I'll find it. You know.
So you said back home you saw shows too.
Mm-hmm.
What's the scene like there?
When I left it wasn't as, I think it's become a lot better than when I left. Because when I left, it was a lot of like straight up like thrash and stuff.
Okay.
And it was like thrash and DJs was like the primary stuff, and or like doing covers here and there, I guess, but it really wasn't career worth. I think now you can do it because I have some buddies still out there that are doing a pretty decent job at it. But
okay.
like, but that's the thing, like that's a great example of something that has a lot of like, if you go up there on a tour, more people will go to that than it, because the Midwest, that whole thing, it's not super touristy.
Yeah, I know bands that don't play, like that live here that don't play here because it's like the worst draw. Like anywhere else they go is a better draw.
Or if you go in any tourist town, it's tough. But if you go to like those Midwest places, like they'll come out just because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's like, please God, something.
Oh, this band looks cool,
Yeah.
They sound decent, and if that's all it takes, like, and that's the cool thing is when you come out of Nashville to another place, they're like, "Oh my, what are you do? Why are you here, bro?" Like and then here, if you can be the most talented guitar singer, whatever, they're like, "Of course you are. You're here. Nobody cares."
Yeah.
We all are, and you're like, "All right,
It's like you're saying, it's a vibe. You're bringing the party, like you're facilitating a party for people to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What kind of music did you grow up with in the house? Like, what did your parents listen to?
Dude, it was all like, like rock. Like it was a pretty big rock home, and honestly, like if anything, dude, the Beatles were it. My dad's whole family like obsessed over the Beatles, and I think I was into the Beatles when I was younger, and then I like pushed away from it a while because it was just all the time. And then I came back to it in like full force, and now like I think like they're still like my top band over anything. Like
I fucking love the Beatles.
I mean, just Paul McCartney in general. Like I love Wings. Like Wings is some of his best work for sure. Like the 1976 live record Wings Over America is arguably the best live record ever made. Like, and I just think from a point of songwriting, like he is it. Like he's the mecca for that because of what they were, and just as a band too. Like the Beatles were able to accomplish in such little time. And also, you can find anything from the Beatles in any band now. Like ever since and after, you can find anything. If anyone did not, people won't admit that sometimes, but like they wrote the book.
Well, they might not even be aware of it. No. They might even know that they're heavily influenced by the Beatles. They are.
Because you can anything you can find in their discography, like it's in there.
Oh yeah, they did everything.
Yeah, everything they could possibly do.
I feel that way about oh, why am I blanking on his name now? The father of jazz.
Steve Jazzton.
Fuck, this is embarrassing. Well, anyway, I'll remember when it's not relevant anymore.
Right, sure, yeah. But not right now.
Yeah, but there's certain artists that just everyone has taken influence from them. like the Beatles.
Yeah.
Where, um, yeah, whether people are aware of it or not, so you're heavily influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah, dude.
Was that both your parents interested in the Beatles?
Yeah, my mom was really into like Tom Petty,
Hmm.
and I mean, my dad was a DJ for a long time, so there's a lot of different music all the time. But like, it's just or like from that to like um let's see, Rolling Stones, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Prince,
Hmm.
big Prince influence for sure. Or yeah, like even Beach Boys, or yeah, but it was primarily like there's just so much Beatles and like or like Aerosmith. Like
Yeah.
my dad always talks about when he would play when he was learning how to play drums, he'd play Toys in the Attic front to back all the time. Like to the point where he had to like buy new copies of it because he'd wear it out. So
That's a lot.
yeah, bro. So that was a major influence and a lot of like I guess in some ways like Van Halen's always like a really big influence, like just for like tone and stuff. Because like a tone chaser thing is like we're all chasing the perfect tone. And I mean, then like obviously you kind of get into more like what we are, like an emo pop punk band, so like Blank, Green Day, and
Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday, and Brand New, and
When you started picking music on your own, was that kind of where you gravitated to?
yeah, I think Green Day was really early, and then Blink for sure. I mean, I just would learn. I just again play those records front to back all the time, and that's where I mean, I think I definitely learned to play guitar from Green Day records and Blink-182 stuff, and my dad's side, they were always playing music together. So, and my dad was always in and out of bands, so he'd play in the garage, and I'd come and listen and
Yeah.
go from there. And then he was always like, "You got to pick one instrument," and I was like, "I want to play them all, though." So then I learned guitar first, or singing first and foremost, obviously, and then guitar, and then drums, and then bass, and then like keys. So yeah, it was a lot of that because I just wanted to be able to kind of like do whatever I wanted to do,
Sure.
So
Yeah. That's you kind of, instead of doing what he said, you're kind of dipped your toes in everything.
yeah, I faked trumpet for like 2 years too,
Dude,
you know.
if I were to learn an instrument, it would be brass. It would be
Yeah,
either a trombone or a trumpet, probably.
yeah,
I
I just faked it. I had one and I fake played it, and my mom found that out when we were at the band concerts in school. She was pretty mad about that, but yeah, then I was like, then I started to like, you know, I knew I wanted. You just have to like take the step to like do it, and guitar was just the thing, man. Like that was just, and I mean, it's something you can always just like you can always learn more of it, you know what I mean? And it's just something where I think like there's certain ways like getting really technical with it, that's a way to go. But at the end of the day, I think like once you figure out like what works for what scenario, I think that's like the key.
Yeah. Did you grow up with religion in the house?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Was that like both sides of the family, or is that most of your,
it was
mom or
it
your
was my
dad?
dad mostly, but then we like kind of fell out of the routine of it after a while, and now I don't really have a big um relationship with God or anything, but I mean I'm not like I'm kind of like I'm open to it though, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like before when I die and I find out that there is a God or there isn't one, either way I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. You
You
know what I mean?
just you got ahead of me. The next thing I was going to ask you is, what do you think happens after we die at this point in your life?
I don't know, dude. I
Nobody,
mean,
well, nobody knows.
right, yeah,
Nobody in the
that's
world
true.
knows. But does anything seem more likely to you than anything else?
I mean, dude, I think they're. I'm on the fence because like again and I wouldn't be disappointed either way, but I feel
Sure.
like, and again like I would literally be like if I die, go to whatever the representation of like heaven or hell is or whatever, like I'd be like, all right, but if there was nothing, I'd be like,
Yeah.
nothing, you know what I mean? So
Nothing or good, as long as it's not bad, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I hope, yeah.
Yeah. Man, yeah. At this point, I kind of feel like maybe it's everything. Like, like everything is out there. So like,
There's no
yeah,
definitive.
maybe there's not one answer.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a million answers. Like as individual as people are, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because a lot of it, dude, like all these different, religions and stuff, like it's all, you choose whatever you want to believe, so your idea of the end is like crafted from that. So,
Yeah,
depending on who you are, right? So who knows?
yeah.
Um,
Nobody.
yeah.
Some people think they've got it figured out, and they will be surprised to find out that
Sure,
it's
yeah.
not exactly what they thought.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah, like I ask that everyone that, and the best answer I've heard is it doesn't matter, which is true.
yeah,
It
for
doesn't
sure.
matter at
Yeah.
all. It's like why, it's ironic for me to say this after like asking everyone this, but like why even think about it? Because it's not pertinent to this at all.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I just think it's something that's like not really like when it's brought up, sure, but like I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you when last time I thought about that,
Well, that's a really uncomfortable thing to not knowing is really hard for some people, which I think is where like religion comes in.
Yeah.
Instead of like grappling with the raw nature of the universe, this weird thing that we're all inhabiting, it's like to like kind of I'm this, I identify with this idea. Is this really comforting? It's like I can just put that away now. I can do other shit. I can turn my attention to other things. Because like reality is a lot of time, like there's so much great stuff, especially about like where we're at, like our community and all this music, but like life is hard too. There's and it's so I grew up really religiously, and um I was also homeschooled. So
Oh,
I was a Jehovah's Witness and I was homeschooled. So I was super cool.
sure,
I
yeah.
was really awesome.
Top of the tier list,
Yeah.
baby.
And I moved out when I was 18, and like I literally knew nobody like outside of my church, right? And I started going to like I went to Eastern. Was the first show I went to.
Oh, okay.
And that quickly became that community and that spiritual, like that church, that spiritual.
Yeah. Oh,
thing.
dude, that's a great room too, man. And people just again, that's kind of like the end, dude. Like people show the fuck up to the East Room just because it's
nice church, man.
Yeah.
It's church except way cooler.
Yeah, bro.
And I say all that to say it's really important what you do, especially going out to places where they don't have that. You never know. Like I can say without a doubt, live music saved my life. So thank you.
Oh,
for
yeah,
doing what you
dude.
do.
I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, I feel like without the bands I listen to or the music I write or me having, because my purpose, as I've seen it, is to make music, like, and do it as and make art, and that's it.
What else is there to do?
Right. Nothing.
There's nothing else in life to do.
Yeah, bro. Besides, like, pay the bills I have to pay.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to do that. You know what I mean? That's just something I have to do.
Yeah.
And again, I'm the same way, dude. Like, I don't know if I would really, I don't know if I'd be here without it, because there's been like, I don't really see any other purpose. So yeah, man. I mean, I've never been into super that low of a point, I don't think, but like, I think I may have had moments of like, like those kind of questions, you start asking yourself, like, basically, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah. People are at like an all-time low for purpose right now in our society, because it's like without these things that like we're talking about, it feels like it's just a grind, and it's like, why am I doing this? Why am I going through these repetitions without something to look forward to?
Yeah.
And even though we have the internet and we're so connected, we're all so alone and separate from each other a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like this community, like it's all we've got for a lot of people, you know. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm very grateful for anyone that takes time out of their day to play for a crowd and to make music. And I know like you're a real artist, so I know this is not this is something true for me. I'm sure it's true for you too. I couldn't stop writing if I wanted to. Like I'm sure, like it's not always fun making art. Like I'm sure when you're writing a song, it's like if it's a good song, it might be really hard to make. It might be
Sure. Yeah.
painful.
Uh-huh.
But you have to do that.
Right.
Like we were just talking about, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like that has to go somewhere.
Mm.
I think of it like it's almost like crying. Like crying is like a release of energy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like you're like exercising that demon into something else instead of keeping it here.
Right.
Where on that note, like where do you think, let me say that a different way. What is your what's your writing process like? Where does it start?
Well, basically it's a lot of different ways. I also thought you were gonna be like, so where do you cry, dude? Like,
Oh,
where-
that's later on.
so where do you cry most like you have a cry corner?
Well, well, I was trying to think about how to ask that because I was gonna ask like, where does it come from? Like, does it start here, or like for me, man, like I do my best writing when I can't like sit down. Okay, now I'm gonna write something. It's like I'm driving or like I'm doing something else, and I'm like something is like spark of inspiration.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. That's a huge thing. Like it's always like when a lot of some of the time, weirdly enough, I think this is pretty common too. Like if you're listening to music and you're like, oh, dude, you know, it'd be really good though. Like then you kind of listen to other music, and then I'm like, oh, I have an idea now for this song now. Like this is what I want to like, and then I'll like voice memo it. And I do a lot of driving, so yeah, the same thing. Like yeah, or like I dream songs too. That's interesting.
Okay.
So that's it's not like super frequent, but sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I gotta like voice memo that, and then put it down, and then like, or it's always like late at night too. It's always like, oh, you start writing this, and like there, or like, dude, honestly, like when shit happens to me that sucks, I will write a song like that. Like whether it's like about like personal relationships or just like dating, all that kind of shit. Like I'll write, I mean, a lot of my songs are about girls, and a lot of the time when we put stuff out, I mean, I get a lot of like that, is this about me thing? And I'm like, sometimes the person is spot on that they know that, or sometimes it's totally about somebody else. And then sometimes I mean, I like to get real cynical with it, and I'll put a reference that only the person who is about should know. And if they can't figure that out, that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
because it's like, okay, but sometimes they do figure it out, and some, depending on how it ended, I'll be like, yeah, oh yeah, that's what that's about, or I'll be like, no, or not want to, or I don't talk to the person anymore or something like that. But like I know that some way they'll hear it, and be like, this is what my point of view on the situation was, or
I write about girls a lot too, and um I like doing that in art because you always have plausible deniability.
Yeah.
It's like, you wrote this about me, and even if you did, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Well, sometimes I mix
people
yeah, together.
Oh yeah.
So then that's like harder to figure out. Or I'll take like
the muse.
Yeah.
Symbolic.
Uncle Charms, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all conglomerated into one person.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it really depends because, dude, I think I've done a lot of writing about like romantic relationships, but I think like more recently I've written about like friendships and stuff, and that is, I think, harder. Especially when friendships fall apart.
Yeah.
and writing about that is like that, that is equal to a heartbreak, like
Sure.
because that's like a friendship trust is something else, especially when it's been like a longer one or something like that, where like you could date someone or be together with someone for like years, like 2 years, 3 years or something like that, and break up, and it's really hard. But then like if you break off like a really long friendship or some, like that could be absolutely devastating,
Yeah. I feel
even if it was for the right reasons.
I know you're not because it's turned towards me, but I feel like you're cheating off my list here because you keep getting ahead of me. Have you ever has your heart ever been broken?
Yeah, dude, only a million times. Yeah, for
Mm.
sure. I don't know if there's anything there anymore. I'm just
Uh,
kidding, but but yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Like it's like you said, romantic, friendship, even like even like a business dealing can be
Oh
like
yeah, bro.
can be
Absolutely.
heartbreaking when
Yeah.
someone lets you down, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. I've had the fair gambit of that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
When talking about romantic, um, when you look back at the times you've had your heart broken, was it love in retrospect?
Not all of them for sure. I think
Sometimes when we're younger, we think things mean more than they actually do.
yeah, for sure. I think you also just have like an idea, you fall in love with an idea of a person as
Sure.
well. That's a
Yeah.
big thing. But a lot of the time, it most likely ends up being that sort of situation. But I mean, as you get older, dude, like I don't know if you just get numb to it or what, but I think like as you get older, you're kind of like getting more like it's less about games and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and I feel like you really are striving for like that, just like you're a person,
Yeah.
and the when you keep getting like when you keep missing that, it's like damn, dude. Like that gets tough. I think that gets one
Mhm.
of the hardest things is just like not finding your individual that you can call like your other half, and versus like when you're younger, it's kind of like whatever. But I don't know. At the same time, like when you get older, I think you date a lot more than you would
Yeah.
think. You would think it'd be the other way around. But like people are more open when you get older, so you just have more opportunities. I feel like
Yeah.
in a way. So yeah,
Yeah. I know what you mean.
but maybe
Um,
you don't like you can kind of not even like date around, but like I don't think there's any like definitive like roles when you get a little bit older, so you kind of like have more romantic kind of mixed friendships as well
yeah. Like
versus like
lines aren't as hard. Line in the
right,
sand. Yeah.
yeah, because like I mean unless it's like after like a certain amount of time you're like okay, we're obviously dating, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But
Not really generally like a conversation. It just kind of happens
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, where it used to be like you had to be like this is
I feel
what
like that's the way to do it, honestly.
yeah.
Like instead of like, hey, what are we? That should not be a conversation.
No, I think it totally depends on the person though at the same
You
time.
know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe that's different for everyone,
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
because it's like there's relationships I've had where I've needed to do that, and there's ones where I haven't. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Have you ever been betrayed?
yes,
It can make it hard to trust people after that happens.
yeah,
Because
man,
in order to be betrayed, you have to have trust in the first place. You can't be betrayed by someone that you didn't trust, you know?
yeah, and then like trying to get that trust back is just like kind of like a depending on how bad the betrayal was, I guess, is like a very tough thing. Even if it wasn't that big of a betrayal, it's just kind of like like you kind of back off now because you're like, well, I've seen the worst case
Yeah.
of trusting this person or whatever.
Yeah. It mm-hmm. It's like a what's the word? It's disappointing because you've like appointed someone to this like pedestal
Yeah,
and now they've disappointed you or that you they've been disappointed in your mind like
sure.
from
Yeah.
the pedestal you put them on. So that can be like a wake up call and like speaking from experience like maybe I don't know like something can still grow out of that. Like it's like now we're looking at each other realistically. It's not it's not on a pedestal. It's not an idealized version of each other.
Yeah.
It's now I see you soberly and like So it's not always the end of the road, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be upsets, and like it depends on the grievance, right? And like how severe, and also the people involved, but
Yeah.
it's not always an end all thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've had people come back from the brink for sure. And then I've had people where like, you do look at that in that light of like this is what it actually is, and you're like, there's really nothing here,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
That happens too. What man, like you said, like it doesn't have to be an upset. Sometimes like I've gone through that too. Like the longest relationship I've ever been in, like nothing really ended it. We just one day decided that wasn't like a thing anymore.
Yeah,
Like, and that, I don't know, that can be like really hard too, because it's like
sure.
there's nothing to blame. No one's at fault.
Yeah,
It's just over.
yeah.
Life's weird like that. Friendships too, man. Like people grow apart and it's like nothing happened. It's like I still love that person. We just don't hang out anymore.
Yeah, well that's a big thing too, is and there's some of those where it's like um I mean, I have friendships where I don't even talk to the person every couple months, but like we get back together and it's like we never left. So
Yeah,
there's that too. So there's a couple, everybody's different, dude. I
yeah,
mean, I'm a person, I'm totally like able to be on my own all the time. Like I mean, I like company, but like I like who I am as a person. I'm comfortable with myself at the end of the night, like when I go to bed with me, it's like I can sleep, it's
yeah,
fine. And I think there's a lot of people that can't do that, so they need to be surrounded by, a lot of people and whatever situation. So I do have that on my side, fortunately, which then keeps me in a better mindset sometimes, but again, like I don't to a point though, because I feel like I do enjoy it so much that it scares me
being
sometimes.
alone.
Yeah, like
There's nothing wrong with
it
that.
scares me that I enjoy it that much. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Why? Why do you think it scares you?
Well, like because I don't want to be, I don't want that to end up like, I guess, kind of a hermit situation
Hmm.
in a way. But like it's never gotten to that point or anything. But like I'm just saying, like, oh, I'm good at
Yeah.
being alone. And you're kind of like, well, just like keep an eye on that, like don't let 40 years go by,
Sure. Sure.
so that would be that.
Maybe if I'm kind of to summarize that, it's like you don't want opportunity to slip you by because you got too comfortable.
Yeah, I don't even think, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even say, like, I think FOMO is a thing, but I don't even think that is like, not even that, it's not even that deep.
What's FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
I
I
definitely had that as like a kid where it's
yeah,
like because I was homeschooled, like and being a witness, like Jehovah's Witness, we didn't celebrate holidays. So like I celebrated Christmas like for the first time last year. And like definitely like felt like seeing kids like trick or treating, like definitely felt left out, like not being able to do
sure,
that.
yeah.
So I definitely suffered from that as a kid, but I know what
Yeah.
you mean.
That kind of subsides though with age, I think, too, because you're like,
Yeah,
then what you see, especially like social media age, like what you see is just not real,
yeah,
And like maybe it was cool, but it's never as cool as you're trying to make
for
it
sure.
seem in your head.
Yeah,
Because then you do go to things, and sometimes they're awesome. That was a great night, and sometimes you're like, that was fucking lame.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But like it's like to bring it full circle, like we were talking earlier about like things meaning more when you're a kid, and like you're kind of like as you get older, you have a thicker skin.
Yeah.
I think like this can be applied to everything. Like kids are really picky about food, right? It's like because their taste buds are new. Like they literally taste things more than we do. I
Yeah.
think they literally experience physical and emotional pain, especially like when you're going through puberty. Like
Sure.
you're experiencing things at a deeper level than, which kind of makes me sad sometimes. But to think about that, like I will never experience things the way I did to the level I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
And that's going to become more true the older we get. Like our senses are going to wear out. Like I already have shitty vision. My hearing's blown from going to too many shows, right?
Sure.
And that's not going to get any better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's going to continue to get worse.
Yeah.
So Like I think living in the moment is really important.
Definitely, yeah, dude.
Yeah, make the most of our time.
Yeah, dude, do you, bro. Like, do
Yeah.
whatever you go, because, dude, honestly, like, even as something as, like, this is so random, but, like, I used to think that you couldn't go to movies by yourself. I mean, I'm talking up until maybe 5 years ago, where I was like, well, I gotta bring somebody. Doesn't matter who it is, because I was like, man, I gotta experience this with somebody else. And then I started going on my own, and I was like, the fuck did I think that for so long, dude? Because I was like, I missed so many movies because of that. And now you can just go and like chill
That is cool.
and be like, and like obviously still bringing people is awesome. Like that's like, let's go see a movie, cool. But like, dude, there's just something like different about like if you go see like a late show by yourself and you're like, or like I'm just chilling. And like I feel like you always gotta like when you bring people, you gotta worry about what everybody thinks of the other movie. Because especially if like you picked it or whatever. You're like,
so you're not thinking about the movie.
Yeah. You're like, I hope they like this movie because I fucking brought everybody here. But then, like, if you go on your own, you're like, dude, and you just chill.
I don't really do a lot of that. I probably should. Like, I don't really go. Like, the only times I get out are to like see a band, and like even if I'm not like actively like going with people, I'm gonna know someone there probably.
Yeah.
And like hook up with someone, like meet up with someone there, and like gravitate together.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's or like we play a lot of pool. Like we'll go to bars and just play pool. But like I don't really like go out on my own. That sounds fun.
Dude, honestly, walking around by yourself is like fucking sick, dude.
Just walking around.
Yeah, dude. Like, because I mean, even like today, like I was trying to kill some time, and I just like walked around like Green Hills Mall.
Fuck yeah.
And I was just like, sick, dude. Like it's just kind of like your own. It's like looking into a bunch of different like shows. Like all these people are having like they're going about their lives, and you're just kind of like, and you're not when you're kind of by yourself, you can kind of just kind of observe the world in a different way and kind of just see with like, and it's just like, I don't know, I think it's good for mental health, dude, just to kind of like, even if it's like go walk in a park or some shit, you know what I mean? Like you're just like letting yourself like think freely about anything, and you can do that anywhere, I guess, but like just something about like venturing out on your own.
That sounds fun in nature, like a park.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's interesting in like if you do it if you're by yourself in a crowd, it's a really interesting experience because you're kind of like just taking it all in for what it is versus like if you're in a group of people, you are a crowd, right? So you're like, it's different. It's all different. Yeah. And like, I don't know, man. I just think going to movies is so like relaxing to me. Like it's such a great like because for like an hour and a half or whatever, or 3 hours.
Yeah,
if it's a Martin Scorsese movie or something.
Yeah.
You just don't have to think about anything else. You just gotta think about this plot of this movie, and you're like,
you watch anything good recently?
Oh, dude, I saw Godzilla -1. That shit was awesome.
Fuck yeah, I haven't seen that.
Dude, it was all so it's in Japanese and it's subs, so it's English subs. And dude, I stopped reading the fucking subtitles. It was so good. I was like, you know what I mean? Like this is awesome. And like the
Gojira.
Yeah, dude, exactly. But like the budget was so for how low the budget was compared to like the American ones.
Yeah.
Which I also like those. It looked fucking great, dude.
Nice.
It was like, and they used like the original theme when he came on screen and stuff, and that was really good. And Killers of the Flower Moon was great. Very long.
Oh, I heard that was really good.
It was 3 hours and 45 minutes.
That's a Scorsese, right?
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's the most Scorsese that ever Scorsese.
Yeah, bro. Dude refuses to make a movie under 3 hours. You know what I mean? So, that was really good. And dude, there's like, I'm a big A24 dude. So
2 nights ago, I watched Beau is Afraid for the first time.
Oh yeah, is that good? I haven't seen that one yet.
Holy shit, dude! You like Ari Aster, like Hereditary, Midsommar?
Yeah.
Same guy who did Hereditary and Midsommar. It's his third major film. Different than Hereditary and Midsommar, which those are like Hereditary is in probably my top five just movies.
Sure.
That's like real. This I've got a story about it. It's like that's a special movie for me. But I Was Afraid is fucking insane. It's like it's 3 hours. It's bigger budget than any movie he's ever done. Um, and it does this thing where like the other two are like very much horror movies, you know.
Yeah.
Like this one causes so much anxiety, but it's not. I wouldn't call it like a horror movie. It's just like this weird type of film where it just creates a lot of fucking anxiety.
That's kind of like Men. Did you see Men? It was another A24 movie.
Oh no,
I don't even know how to describe it.
I'll have to I'll check that out.
Dude, that one, like, I'll never watch it again. But the first viewing is.
Oh wait, did this come out like a year or two ago? Maybe. Yeah.
First viewing is like, dude, it's like, and it makes you just feel like gross, you know, like it's just like, and that's what it's supposed to do, you know. And I was like, this is effective, but it's not like one you'd like. Let me go get the Blu-ray of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at all. And I think, yeah. Then they just did Napoleon, right? That was an A24 movie.
Was it?
I think so.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and I need to see that still. But you know, yeah, man, they have just so many fire movies like X and
I haven't seen that one either.
That's a really good one, and so is the prequel Pearl.
It's a trilogy, right? Or is the
It's
third one
Maxine's gonna come out, I think, this year. So that's
right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of those. I've heard really good things though.
Yeah, man. I mean, I like
I do love A24 though.
Let me see really quick because I have this nifty app for the movies.
You seen Talk to Me?
Yes. That's dude, that was so good. I love that. If this loads. Because they give you a list of all the movies you saw. Yeah, Talk to Me was really good. I'm trying to remember one that I was really, really stoked on when I saw it. The Creator was good. The Exorcist Believer was very mid.
Wait, is that also A24?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just going what I've seen recently.
Yeah. But okay, well that's sad. I thought the original Exorcist is obviously like a masterpiece.
Yeah, Believer was like, it was all right, but it didn't do.
I got you.
You know, it was like, okay, you just saw it coming. You know,
I got you.
I haven't had a really good scare in a long time. You know what I mean? That's what I'm. Talk to Me was pretty good. Yeah, like that was just a really good movie, and that did kind of like make me uncomfortable.
You get where the part where the kid's slamming his head.
That was it. I was like, oh yeah, and you know, it's just like I haven't had a really good, like, deep scare since like Hereditary, like where I went home and I was like, I'm scared as fuck right now. Like something's gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and that we haven't had a movie like
that. Was Hereditary for me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, dude. That was the last time I was like, let me think about that for a couple nights. You know,
the day I saw Hereditary, like I had a really weird paranormal experience the night before, and then I was like I don't know why I decided to go see a horror movie, but like me and my girlfriend at the time, like we'd used a Ouija board for the first time, and we were tripping acid at the time, so everything's just extra. And then for some reason we decided to go see Hereditary the next day. And what always scared me about that movie is I'm like, this is realistic. This is how things happen.
Yeah.
Do you have any? So when I say ghost stories, what I really mean is like, have you ever had an experience you can't really like logic away? A lot of times they happen when you're a kid, you know?
Yeah, I think what I remember is we always thought that my grandparents were like around, like after they passed, like then they were around my childhood home a lot. Like we would sit. We had like our dinner table was like in like there was like living room dinner table and like the computer desk with the family computer was right next to that. And like sometimes you just feel like a push, like a push or like a whisper kind of thing. Yeah, that happened a couple times, but nothing since then.
Yeah.
I used to sleepwalk too. I haven't sleptwalked in years.
Really?
So, yeah.
What what do you remember about that, about sleepwalking? Like,
No,
do
I don't really remember anything,
you
but
just remember being told about it?
my
Yeah.
parents said like I used to sleepwalk. I used to go up and like I'd open the back door of my house and I would shut it and then go back to sleep.
Hmm. Interesting. Like
That,
what age?
oh, maybe like eight or
Yeah,
nine. Yeah.
that's interesting. What do you think about so this is a two-part question. I guess let's start from this side. Um, do you think extraterrestrial aliens have visited Earth?
Yeah, definitely.
Think they've interacted with people?
I believe in more of the fourth dimension, like the
That was my next
in the
question.
same space type of thing.
Mhm.
Like that seems more plausible than anything.
That was my next question.
Yeah,
Interdimensional aliens.
that seems like that's the way.
Yeah.
Like versus like you know uh anything else. I mean, like obviously, like coming from different planets. I mean, I'm sure that's happened or whatever. But
I'm a big believer in both.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, like you get into like time travel, and I don't know about that's like where are they kind of thing. Then you know what I mean. But like I mean, I think like
Yeah, time travel is kind of hokey to me, but I'm a big
yeah.
believer in extraterrestrial and interdimensional. Like,
Well, you can't like you don't. It hasn't happened yet, right? So you can't travel. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, we're time traveling right now. We're moving
Right.
into the future.
Yeah.
So it's like it becomes like a semantic thing. Like, what are you talking about?
I feel like if anything, we may figure out how to go back at some point in our existence, but I don't know if or someone else may. But that's about it, though. I don't think you can really go.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think like we know time is, well, I guess there is a like to me a very credible theory that time is relative. I wouldn't say we know that because I've never experienced it personally, right?
Yeah.
But like we kind of more or less have figured out if you're moving quickly enough, time is subject to you differently than it is in other places. So like that movie Interstellar, like he leaves and like he hasn't aged, but his daughter's aged like 30 years
Yeah.
on Earth. Like I think we can go in travel into the future, you could say, by just going quickly enough. But I don't know if we'll ever find a way to go back. Because I don't even know, like back doesn't exist. Like
Well,
all
I
that
think
exists is right now.
Well, yeah, but it happened.
Yeah,
Like that's why that seems more plausible because like
it did happen.
it already happened. Yeah. So it's like okay, but
maybe if you could see it like Slaughterhouse-Five, like if you could see it all as like a in the book Slaughterhouse-Five, uh the Tralfamadorians see it as a landscape. So it's like a human being looks like a centipede. Like here's a baby on this end, and here's an old person on this end.
yeah.
And then you could just travel into it like a painting, like anywhere in there. So maybe something like that I could see. Is if you're outside of time, you could go anywhere into
Well, if you
it.
see in like the fourth dimension, right? It's like because it's time, right? So that's a whole other thing too, because we don't perceive that though. We don't perceive four.
At that point, if that were the case, aliens could just be us from the future, like when we figure out how to manipulate this thing.
Yeah, like maybe we're just waiting on the day that it finally clicks and we're like nice, and then like it all goes to shit. Because I don't know if it would be like a good thing if we figured it out either.
Maybe time is cyclical. Like one day we're gonna create a big bang that creates everything. Like we're gonna create ourselves. It's a loop.
Right, yeah. Well, because there's always like fixed points and everything like that, and that's more of like stories. But like, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm talking about
I don't know. I mean, like fixed points make sense. There's like stuff that happens that have to happen.
Oh, sure. I see what you're saying.
So like,
That's like a big thing when in like a time travel fiction, like time travel movie. Whenever people
yeah,
explore this concept, it's like there are key events that happen.
that kind of, I think that grounds time travel
Mm,
in a way, because it's like, you know, like, I mean, there's so many, but I feel like Doctor Who is like a big thing about that. Like, because even that dude, like, is like, hey, this has to happen.
mm,
This certain thing. I've lived through it, and this has to.
yeah.
So that's like, I don't know if that ends up being real. It's like that would make
Mm,
more sense, because there has to be some kind of rule to it,
yeah.
as to all things, I guess.
It works. Yeah. That like it. We may not understand it, but it works a certain way.
Yeah.
Whether we ever understand it or not, there is
Yeah.
a way that things work. It's like I was explaining to a friend the other day. Like we cannot break the laws of physics. However, people can uh, think they've done that because we think we know what the rules are, but obviously like the rules, we've been wrong about the rules before, we're wrong about the rules now. We just have figured it out a little bit more since then.
Yeah.
And it's like, so like our the way we perceive it is going to change. Like science is going to adapt and evolve, but there is a way that things work, and that to me is like solid. Like that is like that's how it works. You can't like because I've had like okay, so for example, I've had a lot of encounters with what I would consider spirits,
Sure.
but I've never seen like poltergeist activity. I've never seen like something levitate off the ground, right?
Yeah.
Because I like that's that that wouldn't make that doesn't that can't happen. Like every time I've interacted with the spirit, it's like I've experienced like channeling, and when that happens, they're really excited to be in a body
Yeah.
because they can't normally interact with this.
Sure. Yeah.
So I mean, that all that being said, I would love to see a poltergeist. Like that's kind of my shit. Like if someone could show me, like, hey,
Well, dude, yeah, it's funny you say that. No, yeah, we fucking come on out, dude.
our second guest of the day, Ghost Bill.
Yeah. Why are ghosts always Victorian
That's
ghosts?
yeah, we're the 2008 ghosts.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
They have like they have their like silly bands on and shit. You know what I mean? It's always like
they thought it worked.
yeah, dude. It's always like a Victorian ghost or like a Civil War soldier, dude.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
You ever watch Ghost Files, which used to be BuzzFeed Unsolved? They're like the realest ghost hunters. They just go in and be like, "Come on!" They're just trying to like bait everything.
That's badass.
Yeah, dude. And they haven't found anything yet, so that's how you know it's real. You know what I mean? And the skeptic wants to see a ghost so bad, and the guy who believes does not at all. He's like, I just hope they're not real, but I believe in them. But I hope it's not. And he's like, dude, I wish we'd see one.
You know, I think the question's wrong because like when we talk about real, we're talking about physical, observable reality. So something could exist, well, not even exist. There could be things outside this plane, and that would still not be real. Like, for example, what if the fourth dimension is imagination? So, like, everything we imagine is real, but it's not here, so it's still not real.
Right.
Like everything in your mind does exist in your mind. Like that's how we conceptualize that, but it's still not real because it's not physical. So like whenever people talk about whether these things are real or not, I think they need to really ask themselves what does that mean to them, and what would it take for something to be real, you know? Like I think these things exist. To me it's like a handshake. Like I've told this story before, so I'm not gonna like get into it too deep, but like there was this time, I don't believe in a literal devil, but I have met Satan. Like I've met Satan as real as I'm having this conversation, like big red dude, horns coming out, and I don't believe in that. It's all in my head, except I think what I encountered was a energy form that I put my own, the way it looked, I put that onto it. So it's like a handshake. It's like I'm collaborating with this thing in order to form a connection. So
when was that?
When did that happen?
Yeah.
Summer 2021.
Oh, okay.
I should also mention I was tripping balls.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But here's like, to me that doesn't discount it, because
No,
like,
I don't know.
no, not that you're saying it is, but like people do get really skeptical when you bring that into it, and it's like every like magical practice going back into antiquity, they were using substances to build upon these experiences.
Yeah.
Like they were using things to tap into these experiences. And I think if nothing else, it opens up your mind to possibilities. I think this is why children experience it more than adults, because they don't have a solid worldview. They don't know what is and isn't. We tell ourselves we know what is, so it's like things are less likely to, you're less likely to see something impossible as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like I think maybe the doors are more open when you're a child, or when your mind is more malleable, like from shrooms or something.
Mm-hmm.
But how we got, I don't remember how we got on this, but yeah, that's all my shit. I could be totally wrong about all that as well. I don't claim to know anything. Life is too strange to claim you know anything
Yeah.
about
Oh,
it.
dude, 100%.
What hard segue. What are you most afraid of?
Um. Um. I guess failure, dude. I don't know. I'm not like a. I'm not. I don't have like a thing of like a. I don't know, man. I just feel like it's. I don't focus on fear a lot because it's just like as someone who's moved down and had to just like hit the pavement. It's you can't. It can't be in the forefront. But I think that's definitely it. Like
Yeah.
failure, like fit, like of like having that moment of like feeling like I'm done with like art. That would probably, because that, like I said, that would be a pretty dark moment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's kind of like the opposite of fearing death, like fearing not having lived to the fullest you could have.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that too. Like death is inevitable. That's going to happen. No sense in worrying about that. But what we can worry about and fix is like you don't want to waste your time. You want to live the best you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
It's that's an unfortunate reality for a lot of people, is that like they have dreams when they're younger and then they don't follow through with it. Like, and shit happens, like like accidental baby or something, and it's like now.
Yeah, or the world just
Yeah.
crushes you. Because, dude, I mean, if you meet people that I'm only I'm not even 30 yet, but like.
So you were 21 when you moved here.
Yeah.
You're 28.
Yeah.
I'm 27. So I guess your birthday was in October.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be 28 in April, but I feel you. Yeah.
But like 21-year-old me to now, dude, I mean, I feel like I've learned way. And then you go and you meet people that are that young, and you're like, dude, you don't even know what the world's gonna do to you. Like, it doesn't matter, like where your lifestyle is, or your, wherever you lean on like on a scale of wealth or whatever, it'll get you, dude. Because it's like that's what it does.
Yeah.
I think everybody, and then that's why you relate to people in your class, of like age ranks and stuff, because you're like, man, yeah, bro. Like I remember when that happened, you know what I mean? And it's like you both kind of had a moment of that, where you like were like you learned a lesson, a life lesson of like, whatever it is,
Do you have any advice for young musicians coming up?
Dude, just like quit. No.
Fucking quit.
Give up, dude. Give up. It sucks. No, I just keep going, dude. Just keep playing. Like if you want something, just keep fucking wanting it, dude. Like, and just know what you want. The earlier you figure that out, it's going to change. It's going to change. But if you can just figure out the general area of what your dream is, and like what you want to represent it with your art, you're only gonna figure that out if you keep making it. You know what I mean? And just don't let anybody tell you. Let people help you. Take advice. Don't let anybody convince you to stop though. Especially if that advice is like, dude, maybe like pack it up. Like get fucked.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, dude, fuck that guy, bro.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Is just throw yourself at it completely.
Yeah.
Once you figure it out.
Unless you think your art's like,
I did ask someone that one time, my buddy Will Hammond, and he was like, man, unless you really, really want it, like don't get into music because there's no money in this. Like you gotta really like this, like you don't have a choice. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like don't get into it. And I like that's not exactly bad advice either.
No, I think there is later, but to get to that part, bro, you really gotta believe in it.
Yeah, you gotta put
because you're your biggest fan, and if you don't believe in it, then why should anybody else? Because that's what you're selling. Is like something to get behind.
That's it. That's it. So you have to believe in yourself in order for other people to get behind you.
And you can't let anybody else make you not believe in you. And there's plenty of people in the world that will try that. And you gotta be like, because it's super convincing. People can convince that idea into your head. But you have to be like, no, dude.
What's your projection for the world in like 50 years?
Dude, that's a great question. I mean, I think it'll be more of the same, but I think that I would hope there's some kind of change of like, it just goes back to unity, like I hope we get to a point where we can like have like not world peace. I mean, that'd be sick, but like, that's probably not gonna happen. So like there's too many different ideas going around the world, but I just feel like it's like just a general understanding of the human condition would be, really nice, and that would be a better world, because we're so wrapped up in the things that we created to be pissed at. You know what I mean? Like we made it up. We made it up. For the majority of it, we made it all up.
I like your attitude. You seem optimistic about it. I struggle with it. Like I don't want to be, but I'm pessimistic about where we're headed.
Well, yeah, I mean, this last few years have been pretty fucking.
Everyone's feeling it.
Yeah,
everyone's feeling it. Now looking back historically, economies take up and down. So in theory, things will come back full circle, but I don't know, man. Like we live in a weird time right now. The weirdest time in human history, I think. Which I'm sure every generation ever has felt that way. Like,
yeah, but I definitely feel like we are the generation that knows way too much information about like what's going on. Like obviously there's important things to know that we know now and stuff like that, but like I just feel like we know so much about every person individually, like whatever.
Yeah,
it's like it's too much, dude.
It is too much.
It's way too much. Like, and then to the point where you have to feel like you gotta do that too,
Yeah, man. I have this thing where I take on, like, I'm trying to take on the world's problems instead of like, and you can't, even if you want to fix the world, like it starts with you, like in your immediate surroundings. And like it can be so overwhelming. Like I stay too plugged in to like what's going on, like watching the news and shit. And it's not healthy. It's so fucking unhealthy. Like, because you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, dude, and like it's all kind of like I don't watch the news. But I have an understanding of what's happening and everything like that. But like I don't try to focus on that because like again, like you really can't do anything.
Can't do shit.
So like all you can do is like it's really just to bum yourself out because a lot of it, like I remember going back to Michigan last year for the holidays, and like the news was always on, at like my older relative's house. And I was like, dude, this is the same thing over and over again. And it's like to scare,
Oh, well, yeah,
you know,
especially mainstream media. Like
But even if it's like, dude,
Yeah.
if it's something as like easy as like a snowstorm,
Hmm.
it's not even snowing, but they keep showing that it's snowing, and they go down to the local hardware store and be like, "It's the last shovel." You know what I mean? And it's for like to scare older people to be like, "Oh shit, I gotta go get a shovel, dude."
Yo, Michigan problems.
Yeah, bro.
The hardware stores down to their
But
last shovel.
that's even like as far as like how like when like the toilet paper thing was going on. Well,
Yeah.
that all came from that, bro.
From they created the problem by talking about it in the media. Yeah. It's there's a lot of fear mongering. It's all bullshit for sure. It's a way to manipulate people. That's all. It's a way to keep people scared. Um, I I don't know. I have really radical ideas about how we fix this, but um, those are things I try to stay away from on air because
yeah, well, all that is just above my pay grade. You know, I let those like that's.
Here's the thing, though, right? Um, I think not just our government, but every government in the world has too much control over its people, and there's only one way to stop that. I don't believe in a system. If I did, I would get into politics or law, but I think there's a lot of good people that try to make a change, and then it hasn't worked yet. Like, man, there's this interview. It's one of my favorite things to watch, and also one of the most heartbreaking things to watch. Like, it's Malcolm X at Berkeley in '62, and he's talking about the same shit like we're talking about right now, and nothing's changed. I can't do anything Malcolm X didn't do, you know?
Right, yeah.
And that's it's hard, but also I feel like things are going to our control over the situation is going to continue to be reduced and reduced and reduced. And America is founded on keeping our government in check. Like it's like why we separated from England. It's like we're running shit now.
Yeah.
Then you got like the Boston Tea Party is like no taxation without representation. And then we've gone a long time where we're not in charge of shit anymore. We're all just pawns in the system. And the thing is, like realistically, as a people, we could change that anytime we wanted. But at the same time, we have no control over it, and there's nothing I can do. All I can do is talk about it, right? That's what I figured out is because I've had like really radical times in my life where I'm like thought about doing things I would regret eventually. Like I'd end up regretting it. And I wouldn't get anywhere. Even if I were to do something drastic, it wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I figured out is like this is the most I can do. Is I can talk to people and hopefully have my own mind change because I don't want to be right.
Right. Yeah.
Like if I'm right, that's sad.
Yeah.
Because it's the world fucking sucks right now. I'm reading. We do a book club. I was telling you earlier, like every month. This month we're reading the Unabomber Manifesto, and my biggest complaint with him is that he's ineffective. Nothing he really did accomplished anything. But like his philosophy about the world, I don't think he's wrong. It's just he should have done something different instead of just blowing people up.
Right. Yeah.
He would have, if he was alive today, he would have just started a podcast.
I guess, dude. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, before the FBI shows up, I guess we should start wrapping this up. But thank you so much for being here, Kevin. It's good talking to you, dude. Good picking your brain.
Yeah, bro.
You had a lot of good answers. You were open to being asked questions. So appreciate you having this crazy conversation with me. We'll definitely do this again soon.
Yeah, man. For sure.
And check out Borderline Natives January 4th at the end for their first headlining show.
Yes, sir.
I'll be there, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, man. It's going to be sick.
All right, Alice. We'll see you next week.